This is still the HTM marriage course, and we're talking about how to marry on a budget. In the first part, we looked at the evolution of money and we talked about what marriage is. We said that marriage is the legal and formal union of two people who have decided to come together for the purpose of helping each other to become who they have been designed to be. And for the purpose of this class, we would now be looking at some truths about marriage. Some truths about marriage. Let's quickly look at the first one here. Most couples were certified before they could do anything else. Most people were certified. They gave you a certificate, whether you did your wedding in court, or you did it traditionally, or you did it in the church, or you did it in the mosque. There was something to show that you are now married. So in our case, we're given a certificate, and the certificate simply reads that Mr. A and Mr. B are married, have devoted themselves. What it actually means, devoted themselves to a lifetime of helping each other become the best version of themselves. Now, if you are going to get married, you want to choose somebody whom you are willing and able to assist them become the best version of themselves. Could there be a hidden agenda in giving you a certificate before you are even ready to settle down in the same house, the same room, sleep on the same bed, share the same ideas? Could there be a hidden agenda in all of this? It's something to think about. Another truth about marriage is that whatever you believe about marriage will most likely be your experience. So it's either a marriage for you or it's a management for you. You need to know what is marriage to me. When you say marriage is a blessing to me, you will most likely experience that. I've heard people say, I'm managing it. I'm managing it. What you say with your mouth is what you will get. What you say with your mouth is what you will get. If you say um, your spouse is not good for you, that's most likely what you will experience. So it is important that you are not just living in a world of management. It is important that you create the kind of experience you want, not because you are living it already, but because with your mouth you have the ability to craft it out as you want. Whatever you believe, that is what you will most likely get. What are some reasons that people have for getting married? A lot of people have different reasons. Let's see Mr. Jumbo. Mr. Jumbo is 40 years old. Mr. Jumbo says, I married because of pressure from my mom to get married. They did not tell me the details about marriage. And he went ahead and added that marriage is work, marriage is tolerance, marriage is responsibility. One of the things you must know early in time is that the decision to marry is not a decision you make on the premises of, of coercion. It is made on the premises of conviction. Marriage is not made on the premises of coercion. It's made on the premises of conviction. And what that means is that you have to be convinced, personally convinced about the decision to marry. A man gets to a bridge in their life and realizes that, hey, it's time for me to settle down. you will tell yourself that Mr. John Bull married because of pressure from his mother. And as you can see, he's in tears. The worst thing to do to yourself is to enter a marriage based on the pressure of people. I know a lot of people are having so many diverse temptations here and there. Oh, go and get married, it's time, and all of that. If you do not think it is time, what you need is not pressure, what you need is counsel. They are two different things. You need counsel. As much as I encourage you to get started in the process, but forcing you to get started is also not the solution. Two wrongs can never make a right. Now let's move on. Mr. Toby here. Toby is 35 years old, and he said, age is not on my side. I need to get married really fast. Thank God Toby is not speaking like Jumbo. Jumbo said, I got married because of pressure from my mom. He's already married, isn't it? So it's a different ball game when you are already in marriage and you are in tears. It's a different ball game. Toby is 35 years old and he's saying, I need to. Congratulations to you if you are single today watching this video and your own talk is still, I need to. Because if you need to, it means you still have um, some time to think. It means you still have some time to reorganize your life. It means you still have some time to ask questions. It means you still have some time to go and research about the guy before you settle down. It means you still have some time to talk to your mentors about this decision that you are making right now. Toby is 35 years old and he says, I need to get married really fast. Why? Because age is not on my side. Well, age is an important factor when getting married. You want to consider your age because, for instance, you cannot marry in Nigeria unless you are an adult. You cannot marry unless you are an adult. You must be 18 years and above for you to be able to settle down in marriage. It is assumed that at that age, you have started thinking like an adult. That is an assumption because we have many people who are above 20, above 30, and yet they are not thinking like adults. In the ideal sense, age is just a number and a very, very wrong motivation to get married. So, if all the reason you are getting married for is because of age, you definitely need to rethink. Do not be like Toby. Do not get married because of age. As much as it is a factor, it is just one factor out of the many. This is still the HTM course, How to Marry on a Budget. Um, Let's still look at the next man here, Mr. Johnny. 30 years old Mr. Johnny says he got an 18-year-old girl pregnant and was forced to marry her. Hmm. So this happens a lot around us. This happens a lot around us, and I see people being forced to get into a union that they never would have wanted. A young man is growing up promising, trying to chase his future, and all of a sudden he falls into the trap that most young men fall into in their early teens and okay, in their late teens and early adulthood, which is the trap of, in quote, falling in love with a damsel, thinking that this is true love. Unfortunately, it's not always like that. So in the quest for love, in the quest for acceptance, and within the period where they have this sudden outburst of emotions and adrenaline pumping in the body, they they surge into this relationship, believing that it is real. Unfortunately, some of these guys they get into the wrong hands Like you can see this pregnant lady now, this pregnant young lady, um, giving her all to Mr. Johnny here. And Johnny is 30 years old. According to what Johnny is saying, is the girl is 18 years old. And you see the gap. Now, it's not actually about the number, the age. It's not. The issue here is whether Johnny, on one hand, will be able to cope with the differences in age, in terms of character, in terms of attitude, because an 18-year-old has a way they behave which is rather different from how a 30-year-old behaves. These two are coming from two different generations, and if you will be willing and able to cope with the character and attitude of the 18-year-old vis-a-vis your 30-year-old self, it is a factor to consider. Not that you cannot marry an 18-year-old because you are 30. You can, if you check other parameters and you are okay. The issue here is whether the 30-year-old Johnny can and is able to cope with the 18-year-old girl whom he got pregnant. Another issue here is the issue of being compelled. Being compelled. From the way Johnny sounds here, it seems to me that the girl would not have been Johnny's choice. Rather, because he has gotten somebody's daughter pregnant, the man says, "Hey, you have to marry my daughter." And that's how I see it here. That's what I think is the case. So one has to ask a lot of questions if you find yourself in this position. Marrying the lady, is it really the solution? Do you love this lady enough? Do you appreciate her for being the mother of your unborn child? All of these are issues and questions that you need to ask yourself before you make the choice to settle down in marriage with somebody who is about several ages uh, underneath you or ahead of you. Let's quickly move on. This is Sissy. Sissy is 26 years old, and Sissy is getting married because all her friends are getting married and she does not want to be left behind. Hello, Sissy. 26 years old Sissy. Many girls around us today, getting married is not because they understand what marriage is. Getting married is not because they have gathered all the knowledge that they need about marriage, which of course should be the case. Before you decide that it is time to marry, one of the things I recommend you do is to read several books on marriage. Read several books on marriage. Go to a bookshop. Tell them to give you all the good books they can find on marriage. If you are not going to go to a bookshop, just go to Google. Go to Google, search best and practical books on marriage. Best and practical books on marriage. You will see a whole lot of them. Then you can download the ones you can get. You should be able to read at least 7 books on marriage before you can tell yourself, okay, I have gathered some information. Then by so doing, you have enough things on your hand. The next thing you do is walk up to some people who have the kind of marriage that you believe you would like to have. Walk up to them and tell them, I'm getting ready to get married. What advice can you give me? When you are going to see them, don't carry your WhatsApp to go and be chatting when they are talking. Get a notebook and a pen. As they are talking, be writing so that you can learn. Marriage is an institution. Marriage is an institution. It is a school. It is a school. You got your certificate the day you were married. Now you have to prove that the certificate you were given, first class for that matter, because that's what they gave you, first class for that matter, you must now prove that you were worthy of being certified. A perfect understanding of marriage is required for one to be married. And one place to get it is in books. Books written by qualified authors. Books written by people who have the kind of marriage that you want to have. Books written by people who have experience of several years in marriage. Books of people who have stayed long. Longevity is key. People who have stayed long in marriage. So if you are just getting started, you need the help and the coaching of people who have gone ahead of you. Now let's move away from Sisi. Look at this lady called Chiomazi. She's 30 years old, and what does she have to say to us about marriage? She said, I was forced to accept a rich man to rescue my family from poverty, even though I did not like him. Chiomazi was forced to accept a rich man, and the main aim of this adventure was to rescue her family from poverty. And then she added, even though I did not like him. We began this training by talking about some of the reasons why people actually get married in the definition when we were doing the introduction. And it was not B. Malinowski. B. Malinowski said that the aim of marriage is people coming together so that they can produce children. And we said this is this is an acceptable definition only to the extent that it covers only children. So if children is the sole aim, it means that when we are done with children, we can part ways. And then we said that there is more to it than just producing children. Now we are seeing Chiomazi, 30 years old, saying that the aim of her marriage was to rescue her family from poverty. The way I understand this is they are poor, the man is rich. So if she gets married to the rich man will enhance their family status by way of maybe buying them a car, by way of putting her brothers in school, by way of establishing a business for her father, by way of uplifting the mother's current trading business, by way of giving her brother a job, by way of building them a house in the village. Now, if all of this is done and the family status has changed, my question is, does it mean that the marriage can now end? Because when you have achieved your result for that class, you have to graduate to the next. But marriage is not something you do for 6 years and close. It's not something you do for 10 years and close. You do it till death do you part. And that is why you choose somebody who you can do this till death do you part. Won't it be amazing for you to enjoy the beauty of marriage all through your lifetime? Won't it be amazing? That decision, you must not make it hastily. And that is why you must not accept the pressure people are mounting on you. Get married, get married, get married, get married. No, 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 no. Don't accept the pressure people put on you. Your marriage should be on conviction. Be on conviction. When I was about to get married, I had several people telling me, don't get married now. It's not yet time. I listened, never failed to listen, because in the multitude of advice, there is safety. I listened, I accepted, I took notes. Then I went back and questioned my intentions. I asked myself questions again. Why do I want to do this? Am I doing it because age is not on my side? Am I doing it because I've been compelled by my family? Am I doing it because I need something? Am I doing it for sex? Am I doing it for what reason? Am I saying that I want to get married? I encourage you to ask yourself these questions also. I encourage you to ask yourself these questions. You will get answers. Marriage is never a tool for poverty alleviation. No, it is not a 7 point agenda of the government to take away poverty. It is an intentional act you are making because the time is right, because you are on an assignment and you need a helper at that stage of your life. It is not a tool for enhancing your social and political status. You don't use marriage in our time to strengthen political ties. Let's look at Richard. Mr. Richard here said, I needed a sex partner and that's why I got married. If sex is your only motivation for getting married, you need to question your intentions again. Marriage is not all about sex. That is just part of the experience of marriage. It's just not about sex only. If sex is your only intention, you need to question your intentions again. And this one is Lady Tina. Lady Tina said, I am marrying for companionship and friendship. I am marrying for companionship and friendship. While this is good, many people do not realize the deeper meaning of wanting to have a companion, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, not for 3 years, but for life. Are you ready to go the journey with this person? Are you ready to travel the distance with this person? Marriage is not something you do for 10 years and stop. While you people were young, you needed a companion. He's very handsome and tall. But as you grow older, his handsomeness begins to vanish. The lady's beauty begins to vanish. You said you wanted a companion. Now you have a companion. Have you considered the fact that this companion might get to a time when they cannot really keep you company? It is your ability to plan ahead for that time that really makes you mature enough to be a certified degree holder in this institution of marriage. Companionship, it's an important feature. Define how far you are willing to go with this choice of a companion of yours. Let's look at Annie. Annie here is 40 years old. 40 years old, Annie says, I'm getting married because I want to show my friends Pepe and prove to them that I can marry too. Evidently, Annie has been waiting for a long time. From the picture we see here, Annie is a very very funny person. I would say maybe she's a runs girl kind of. Annie here has waited for up till 40. And she said, I will show my friends Pepe and prove to them that me too, I can marry. While it's okay to show your enemy that you too can make it. Of course, even Psalm 23 tells us that God prepares a table for us in the presence of our enemies. So sometimes it's okay to tell those people who said you can never become anything in life that you can actually do. It's okay, but it shouldn't be your greatest motivation. If it is your reason to get married, there is a problem. If it is the main reason why you are getting, see, they just ask you, why are you getting married? Say, my first answer is that all my friends are getting married and they are now laughing at me. They're now asking me, where is your God? And and your main reason for getting married now becomes that there is definitely an issue and you want to check it. Marriage is not a place to prove a point, but a place to fulfill purpose. So you don't have to gamble with your destiny. Look at Mr. Okafor. Mr. Okafor is a very interesting character here Mr. Okafor is poor, yet Mr. Okafor said he has a dream of beating his late father's childbearing record by giving birth to several children. For this Mr. Okafor, his real aim of getting married is to have several children so that he can beat his late father's childbearing record. And even though childbearing is such an important part of a marriage, in fact, a marriage that now has children is excited to have one, welcome one. They now have two, they now have three, they now have four. The problem is not that you should not aspire to have a lot of children. Children too, child upbringing is a different thing, is a different topic entirely. And your aim of having children also matters here. Having children, having children is important in marriage. But if your reason for having multiple children or your reason for getting married is to have multiple children, one would want to ask whether your motivation is actually correct. Though Paul, his dream of having several children seems questionable to me. And this is one reason many people give for getting married. What this man does not realize is that the more children you have, the less likely it is that you will pay attention to your partner in marriage. And so what happens is that now you are married, you people are one and together. As you start having children, children begin to take a little out of the attention that both of you are giving to yourself. And that is because childbearing and marriage between the two of you, they are two different things actually. On one hand, you have childbearing, raising the kind of children that you were proud of. And on the other hand, you have a partner whom you are now committed to helping become the best version of themselves for the rest of your life. And while this may look like, what do you stand to gain by your own self? The question is, what does the other person stand to gain from you? See, if two of you are thinking about how to grow each other, you will benefit more. You will benefit more because both of you will now be focused on how to help the other person become the better version of themselves rather than yourself only. So you want to pay attention to that also. Now let's look at Mr. Timothy. Timothy here is one of those guys that people kept saying, hey, you've been carrying all different kinds of women. We want to see you get married to one of them. And because of that, Timothy made a decision and said, okay, since you people have disturbed me too much, I have like 17 girlfriends. I'm going to pick one out of them so that I can actually live with the person. What Timothy is saying is quite different from what he should be saying. Timothy is saying, I will pick one out of the many so that we can start living together as husband and wife. But marriage is leave all others all together and focus on one, a helper because you are going somewhere in life. Timothy married to avoid fornication or sleeping around. But does marriage really stop you from fornicating or sleeping around? What marriage does is that it may prevent you from sleeping around for a while because you have a partner. However, it is a very mediocre motivation for one to avoid sex outside marriage because Timothy, after getting married, is still looking outside. Timothy, after getting married, is still reaching out. Today he's with his wife. Tomorrow he says, oh, my wife is this. Let me get somebody outside. Oh, I'm not going to uh, go, I'm not going to do it unprotected. I'll make sure it's protected and all of that. But it's not really a great motivation for marriage. All right, so we are going to end the part two of this training here. And in the next part, we are going to look at some of the deadly mindsets that's keeping mature people from getting married. Do not forget that your questions can go to the YPD platform. To get to the YPD platform and be a member of the Your Personal Development community, please send us a WhatsApp message on 0706 459 4452 0706 459 4452. 52. I still go by the name MC William. If you are close enough, you can call me Wedet. God bless you. See you in the next session.